taking a film for it, for a documentary about the haunted rooms up there, and they had trouble with their cameras and their sound equipment.
Oh, yeah, always. And you always find orbs. If you take photographs, you'll always find orbs in those haunted areas. Those orbs are not human beings, though.
Well, what do you think they are?
I think that they are natural to this earth plane. I think that they are nature, and I think they live off of negative energy.
Because energy is energy anyway.
You bet.
Because I get so many pictures sent to me on the email and through the regular mail of people who have taken pictures of these orbs and all kinds of streaks of light and things like that. And, we get so much of it, so I know it's real. But to me, it's no longer an unusual phenomena. But the people that send the pictures think that they're the only ones that have this kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's really quite common.
It is.
Especially with our technology now being so high.
Yeah, I keep thinking that's what it is, that with the cameras now, we're able to catch things where before we couldn't.
Exactly. Higher speed.
Yeah, and the way they film is so sensitive. That
Absolutely.
They've been there, but before it was only under very controlled circumstances. Now, I think you could pick it up, and you wouldn't know what it was. But that's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe it's always been there, but just now we're being able to become aware of it. Maybe it's vibrating at too high of a rate that we don't see it with our eyes,
Exactly. Animals can see it.
Oh, yeah. I've got that in some of the thing I'm going to put in the new book, that animals can look into other dimensions.
Absolutely.
And they can see these things. I used to have a cat. We lived in a haunted house. Didn't have any choice. My husband was in Vietnam. I had to stay there. Our cat was always watching things moving around, going up and down the steps, and it gave me the creeps. I know they can see these things.
Well, their eyes are different frequency. They can see at night.
Yeah.
And so their eyesight is much different than ours.
So they're seeing things that we aren't aware of that way.
Exactly. And
well, we've got some time left. Let's talk about last time we started in on the Sphinx, and we probably won't have time to finish it all, but we just got into the interesting part that you were, what was it? You had gone down into the tunnels. You were lower down there, weren't you?
No,
you
I
want to start at
down there.
the beginning of that, or what? Did they ask you to come over there and do that, or did you just go, or what?
It was the Shore Project.
Yeah.
Dr. Joseph Shore, and it was also with ARE.
Okay.
They were involved, and they wanted to open the chambers under the Sphinx.
Yeah.
And I was also working with Boris Said, who was a producer.
Yeah.
And he was filming all of this. And
I'm thinking of Hadi the Wasp, but was he there?
He was there, yeah.
Huh?
And so I went there to be as an acting psychic on the spot to see what I could pick up and locate.
Yeah.
And I told them that I told Boris that there was a well right next to, what do you call it, leading from the Sphinx to the Great Pyramids.
I mean, above ground, there's not anything. Could you mean like a tunnel or something?
No, it's a causeway.
A causeway, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Egypt yet. That's one place I haven't gone yet. So there's a causeway connecting the two?
Yeah, it connects the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx.
Yeah.
And this well was to the very side of this causeway. And I told them that the well led down to the entrance into the tunnel.
Yeah.
Well, the tunnel had been under 300 feet of water for probably thousands of years. So they thought it was nothing more than a well.
Yeah.
Well, it dried up all of a sudden.
And then they could be able to go down into it?
They were able to go down into it.
Is that when you went down?
That's when I went down. And I told them, I said, there are connecting tunnels from each one of the pyramids to the tail of the Sphinx, where there is an antechamber.
In the back?
At the very tail of the Sphinx, which
that's what I've been told, that it's in the back there somewhere.
It's about 12 feet down, and it's in the limestone.
Okay.
And that there were 8 other chambers, and they're stair-stepped in the limestone underneath the Sphinx. And Dr. Tom DeBecke brought sounding equipment, and he was able to locate the chambers, and that there were things in the chamber because of the sounding.
Then you know there was something there.
Yeah. So we went down this well. The first chamber was 5 sarcophagus that were emptied.
Yeah.
The next chamber down, and we're like 300 feet down.
You said you were lowered down. Weren't
No.
you like in a sling or something?
No, that was Dr. Short. I got to climb down this iron, very small rung ladder.
Better you than me. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. And it was muddy.
Yeah.
So, no, I got to climb down the ladder and up the ladder as well.
Yeah.
I'm a real working psychic. So at the bottom, there was what appeared to be a temple. And it had 4 pillars to it with a square in the middle, and to the side was a black granite sarcophagus lid, but it had no lip to it. And I told them, I said, underneath that sarcophagus lid is the opening to the tunnel that leads to the Sphinx. Well, they refused to open it while we were there. Later, it did get opened, and that did lead into a tunnel, but there was a problem. The tunnel was filled with water.
Okay.
Now, scattered on the floor of this underground temple were human bones. And, I mean, there was a multitude of them.
Sounds very similar to the one in Japan, really, with all the bones and the bodies and things.
Yeah, they kind of fall into a category, don't they?
Yeah, it seems like it, Okay, then what did you do?
I held one of the human bones.
Yeah.
To find out what happened. And what I got was a battle that took place between the priests that were sealing those tunnels that led to the Sphinx, so that no one could get into those chambers. And they died in that chamber. They were butchered. They were trying to protect what was in there? They were trying to protect what they had placed in the chambers underneath the Sphinx.
Okay. That goes along with some of the information I've got, too. But did you ever get back into the back part?
No.
I've heard that Hadi Zawas in particular doesn't want people exploring around down there, does he?
Well, they had dug another tunnel that actually led to, I think, one of the chambers.
Yeah.
But it had a piece of black granite that was about 3 feet thick.
Yeah.
And they couldn't cut through it.
Like a doorway or what?
Like a wall.
A what? A wall?
A wall.
A wall.
Yeah. And then you've got to say, okay, here this whole plateau is nothing but solid limestone. How could they have gotten walls of black granite to be the chambers?
Yeah.
Underneath the Sphinx.
Well, the information I have is that they were put in before the Sphinx was built.
Really?
Yeah, is that what, you got anything about that?
No, I didn't know one way or the other, but I find that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually makes sense to me.
So they said in one of my regressions, the cat, the Sphinx, is like a cat sitting on a mouse.
Yeah.
sitting on his treasure.
Makes
And
sense.
the cat sits on top of the treasure, the hidden records.
Well, that was the impression I had.
Well, I think it would make more sense. It'd be easier, wouldn't it, to build the chambers first and the walls, and then to construct the other one over it.
I don't know. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up something else that no one's really said anything about.
Okay, now we're watching the clock now, so don't be upset if I interrupt you. But go ahead. We'll talk as long as we can.
In Cheops, the Great Pyramid,
Yeah.
there are stairs that lead to the King's Chamber.
Yeah.
They're made out of stone.
Yeah. Huh.
They're worn away.
They're worn away.
Yeah, they're practically worn away.
Is that from the tourists, do you think?
No.
Because I know they get a lot of tourists going up and down them, don't
They have a wooden ramp that covers that.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen the pictures of that. That way they don't walk on the steps?
That's correct.
Well, what do you think? Do you think it was worn away back in those olden times, or what?
I believe that the Great Pyramid was used for initiation.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because, you know, in a lot of the regressions, that's what they do. They are left in there, and they put in like they were supposed to be buried alive. There was a lot of initiations they had to go through.
Yes.
To be priests and priestesses.
That's what I got.
So it's very possible.
Absolutely.
Do you ever get anything? I just got a few more minutes here. He's going to pull the plug if I go too long.
Okay.
Do you ever get anything about which was built first, the pyramids or the Sphinx?
The Sphinx.
That's what I've got. They said the Sphinx was there before the pyramids.
Absolutely.
And there was a temple there that was destroyed.
Yes.
And that is about in the same vicinity where the Sphinx was built. I mean, the pyramids were built.
Actually, the temple, there was a few, but one major one was in front, directly in front of the Sphinx.
Okay, that goes along with my information in the convoluted 2, I believe. I have a whole thing about that in there. So it's amazing how we both work in different ways, and yet we're coming up with the same information.
Well, I have a belief. Truth is truth.
Yeah. That's when people say, well, your work is so much like somebody else's. Well, to me, that adds validity.
That's right.
We're not copying each other. We're finding the same information through many different ways.
Confirmation.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to stop again.
Okay.
Every time we get on here, we got so much to talk about.
Well, it's been
All right.
a joy.
You give out your information, how people can contact you.
It's area 501-888-8056, and it's from Monday through Friday.
Okay, repeat the number again.
Area code 501-888-8056.
Okay, and you also have a website.
Yes, I do. CarolPatePsychicCenter.com.
Okay, but you're kind of not wanting to do as many murder cases as you have been.
I'd like to slow down a little bit on that one.
Okay, and tell them no curiosity seekers, please.
Please.
Okay. All right, and if you want to find information on mine, it's Ozark Mountain. It's OZARKMT.com, the abbreviation for mountain. And my 800 number is 1-800-935-0045. 1-800-935-0045. And I want to thank you again, Carol, for being on. It's always a delight, and there's so much information every time you come on.
Well, thank you for asking me. I always enjoy it.
Okay, now you want me to go to Peru with you again, and so I don't know. We may be doing things. Who knows?
Hey, why not?
You're braver than I am. All right, but thank you very much.
Okay, you have a great evening, and I wish the listeners a great evening, too.
Okay, and I hope they got a lot of good information.
Me too.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.